Hello and welcome back to another episode of IBJJF Q&A. I'm your host, John Medina, and my guest for today is world champion, pan champion, Brasileiro champion, and founder of Team CheckMat, Leo Vieira. Professor, how are you today?
I'm good. I'm good. It's an honor to be here, and part of your, uh, I don't know how you call podcast, video, YouTube, but a part of this project that BJF has been doing with it. Amazing.
Nice, great to hear. All right, well then let's get started. Let's get right into it. Um, you know, as I've studied your work, I've seen so many good matches from you and so many exciting matches. You were such a dynamic competitor, always doing cartwheels or throwing people over your head and always keeping them guessing. You would never stop moving in the match. Endless cardio. You either stopped when the match was over or when you submitted your opponent. And as I was thinking about this around that time, this style was so unique. There just weren't many athletes who moved like you. So I guess my question is, where did you develop this style? And, who were some of the athletes that influenced you?
I think because I start with very young, very kid, and then like I think I keep the way that I used to train as a kid to my adult and my competition, because as a kid it's very energy, very athletic,
Mm.
and a lot of energy kids, right? So I when I grow up and then I get like a higher belt or even adults, I was making exactly my training be the way that I compete. I knew there are a lot of side effects sometimes, because I remember to see Romero. He gets so crazy. Leo, stop, hold the position. You're missing points, or sometimes you're giving points to the guy, and and that I think this is something that like I was scaring me because I didn't know when I don't know how to stop. I don't feel comfortable to stop, And in my mind also, it's like I and back at the time didn't have the score, so you can see like actually how much point or you don't know like you can see who's in front, who's losing, who's winning, and I was pretty bad in making to understand it to know if I was winning or not. So I
Mhm.
was just like trying to push as much possible to make sure that I will win the fight.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I noticed that. And one thing I also noticed, it's kind of like a side question to this, is you had this crazy balance. And there's even some YouTube videos out there where you're at an academy and you're jumping on one of those workout balls, and you just jump and you stand and you're just balancing perfectly. You and Galvao, I believe.
Yeah.
And what made you want to develop something like that? You just knew balance was a very key component for competition or for jujitsu.
Yeah, I think first I was very like a uh, like a kid who grew up in the street doing different things, not just jiu-jitsu, but surfing, soccer, skate. So I think a lot of those activity give me different abilities,
Mm.
and those abilities I was using through my to jiu-jitsu. So I think my balance, my move. So a lot of the component, especially my ability that I have in jiu-jitsu would make a difference to the others was because I was doing like a lot of different sports, a lot of different martial arts, and those but always to with I'll have this open mind to learn always something new to bring something to my jiu-jitsu. So the priority was always jiu-jitsu, but I was doing judo, I was in capoeira, I was in
Mm.
boxing, I was in different sports, swimming. Jacaré used to put us to swimming, running, bike. So, and I was as a kid, I wanted to do to the skate. Then we go to like to skate parks. So different balance, right? So that's I think all and everything inside a very nice group of friends and environment with a lot of kids. So going to different sports. So I think all these connections, those different experience bring me like confidence to with my balance, and that's something that was scary during the fight. Even like myself, sometimes I saw some of my fights, special uh, with Shaolin. he grabbed my leg. So even like right now, I know the result, but I still worry about it. I say, oh my God, now he's gonna take me down. Now he's gonna take me down. And then I find a way to get out, like, so yeah. So that's but I think it was natural process as a kid to be surround different activities that give me different abilities to jiu-jitsu.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. You found a way to encompass all those styles into your jujitsu style. It was really, really cool and unique to see.
Mhm.
Along with your fighting style, one thing I really liked about you also was, studying your martial arts values. In
Yeah,
particular, the seven virtues of Bushido, which you have on your wall at one of your academies, right?
yeah,
Which are integrity, respect, heroic courage, honor, compassion, honesty and sincerity, and duty and loyalty. Can you tell us, what these values mean to you and how important they are?
yeah. Like grow up in my family the way that a dynamic of family. They grow up in jiu-jitsu, so it's very important. Like values is really important to us, right? As the whole jiu-jitsu community. But like for me, it start very with my family, very early with my family. My father from North Brazil, so countryside, so very stricted, uh, but very loyalty. Very his word is his word. So my mom, same thing, but she's from Rio. So I grew up with this environment about like be very honestly no matter what. So the values that I was in my home was like already those values was very strong and very. So I grew up with this feeling bad if I was hurting if I was hurting one of those values. So was not trying to, it's not cheating them, but I was cheating myself, and this make me feel very uncomfortable. The same time I was in going to church, looking to, answers that sometimes nobody can give it to me. So what am I doing here? You know, and I was questioning myself so much about like what's the purpose of my life. So what am I doing here? So I want to know. I want to answer this question, and I didn't have those questions in the book. My parents doesn't know the questions. So, and then I have my my research by myself, and then like and then with being Christian, with Jesus, and Bible, that's what they give me all these answers, was making those values be more important to me. So those values was really part of my even my life since I was childhood. Jiu-Jitsu just make this be potential. Jiu-Jitsu just make this be that are honor, there are a lot of honor. I used to we call, and the Bible also talk the same thing. It's a principle of honor. So, and those principle of honor is very important to us. All these, those virtues that you say, like from the samurai's code, but it's very much what the jiu-jitsu does too. Uh, but the thing is, like with jiu-jitsu, like we like some teams, athletes, or professors, they use the principle of honor to slavery athletes, to slavery students and athletes, and then that's why it become with Creonte and all
Mhm.
like and like that's why a lot of dramas, breaking teams, because a lot of the teams they use those principle of honor that jiu-jitsu bring because like being jiu-jitsu every day daily, you guys build so much friendship, there are a lot of respect, there are a lot of loyalty, there are a lot of core, there are a lot of those virtues to be on the mat. So all these virtues give you honor. There's a and a lot of teams and athletes and professors use those principle of honor to stuck to hold students, to hold athletes, and that was something that was, and then something that I realized that happening, and that was something that's changes so much for me, for myself. So but it being this generation of jiu-jitsu and then with the CheckMat was like a back was like trying to use those values with the right way, with the way that I think it's the fair. It's giving and respecting the free will of the athletes, respecting the free will of the other affiliations and the professors, but also giving them the power to be the professor, the power to be athlete, to make decisions, but every decision's coming with their consequence, right? So, and then that's why, like with those, I have those values in my wall. It's because a dojo was the project to do this, is to bring back those values that was important to us, and sometimes competition, social media, like the new world, like make we change those values. So the values that we use nowadays, like it's different than the value that we used to have.
Hmm.
So this way was the way that these values to make, hey, that's what let's make what who we are. That those was the value that make jiu-jitsu be what jiu-jitsu is. Those are the value that make our team big what we are. Those are the value that is important. So let's use those values with these guidance, with these directions, and create our own like team. So that's the reason that I have those values really important to me, because those values is which tell who I am, and when I know who I am, I know where I'm going.
Hmm.
So, and those values important to make everybody as our team to understand who they are and where you're going as a group.
Yeah, it really shows too. I mean, I can contest. I see you at tournaments, and I can see the incredible amount of respect and loyalty your students and your affiliates have for you and your other professors that are leaders
Mm,
for your team.
thanks,
So
thank you.
that kind of leads to the next question perfectly.
Okay.
I often think that many jujitsu practitioners nowadays, they overlook what it means to be a black belt and even what it takes to be one also. It's not just a measure of skill. There are good blue belts, good purple belts, good brown belts that are at that
Uh,
skill level,
uh,
but it's also a measure of development of character, right?
uh,
And that part seems to get forgotten these days.
uh,
Jiu-jitsu is a martial art before anything.
yeah.
And I recently heard you in an interview where you express a similar feeling. And I think a perfect example for this is your student Bushesha. He is the exemplary of what it is to be a black belt. He is respectful off the mats to every single person he talks to, no matter who you are. He lets his actions, show on the mat. His actions do the talking for him,
Mm, mm,
and he's an all-around great person. So,
mm.
how important is this development of your students in becoming not only a good jujitsu practitioner, but also a noble person with good values?
Yeah, like that like the answer these questions back a little bit to the first questions, right? So because and like as a team as a team, we know we it's pretty clear, we know who we are, which are our values, and then we know what's your our goals. Our goals is to help others, is to help. The way that i I manage the team is the same way that I manage my family. So the same way I take care of my kids, my wife and my kids, is the way that I want to take care of my affiliations, with the same love, the same care that I want, right? So and I know I grew my kids as growing up. So as they're growing up, so I'm not gonna have my kids the whole time. So one day they're gonna make a decision to say, that, thank you, I'm leaving. They will leave, but it would be their decisions to coming back and to keep close to me. It would be their decision, and we do the same things. I think those are the process. So, and that's the way we use this principle of the honor to give we respect, we give honor to them. I cannot ask or buy honor to from athletes and professors. That's why we don't buy in our CheckMat. We don't trade athletes, because it's you cannot buy honor, right? So the idea is like we give our honor to them, and they're gonna give us honor back, because they're gonna see how much that we can build together. So our black belts, they understand. If they come from white to black belt, they understand the process that we have. They see how fair in the environment is. They see how nice, how powerful they are by themselves, but they see also how strong we are together. And then nobody take advantage to the others. So makes sense when like to be a professor, to be a black belt, to have your own successful academy, but also be under this umbrella, will be under this family that is checkmate. So it's with those same values that I push them, so they also push the others. And I use Bushido as a perfect example because he he like he's the guy like everybody looking at sport. So he's the best and top name in sport. So he show up in them. His discipline. So the way he put himself, he show up on the mat. It's very make very easy to the new generation, like understand this process. Or I have to bow when I get in the mat. I shake hands from everybody on the mat. Or I have respect everybody and accessible. Like he training with lower belts. So the way he respect, the way he show respect, he get even more respect. Like how many people is gonna give up for one of the title like open class world champion, like division title, to
Yeah.
give it to it was not wasn't me, it was him,
Hmm.
right? So those then that's when as a team and I see those athletes like my kids. That's when you see as a father, you say, okay, man, my son, he really understands the process. It's go beyond the armbar, go beyond the chokes. We use the chokes and armbar, but to teach values, to teach like how to be a better person, how to help each other. So when you see those actions on the mat from the athlete, their level as a Bushido, then you know your values is right. You know that whatever you're going to you point to the good direction, because make it easy to the new generation understand when you have like a certain level. This guy be a good example inside and outside the mats.
Yeah, yeah, I completely agree. Lastly, I want to ask, you've accomplished many things in your life, from being a world class competitor and winning many titles to creating CheckMat and building your own champions to now having a network of affiliates who all support the CheckMat flag. I think I just want to know, how has this overall process been for you and this general growth?
Yeah, like as a kid, as a teenager, and actually even when I was like as a professor, I didn't realize that will happen one day, because I was so loyal to my team before. I
Mhm.
was so like a soldier in loyalty that I like I was stuck in this principle of honor. I was stuck myself in the team, and I was giving all my loyalty, and in the end was frustration. Was like I didn't have my right. I didn't have my voice. I didn't have my message. Was I couldn't send my message, and that like that's like with checkmate was the opportunity to 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 be my voice, to see who I am, was to live my life. I didn't know how big, I didn't know how strong. I was like even didn't know who would be with me, right? But I knew at the value. I knew it. Like I was so frustrated with teams and like dramas in jiu-jitsu, that I just decided to say, like, to get back to the values, and okay, I just want to do by myself.
Mm.
And then we find then you start to find the people that have the same values as you, and that's the way the team grow up. The team grow up not looking to abilities, not looking to people that like to do what you do, but we grow up with putting people close to us that have the same values. So
Mhm.
when I make the values, our values became like the critical point to get together. Was That's why we was getting people and was getting out people, because if the athletes, the affiliations, the people doesn't have the same values as us, they was going away. So the people have the same value as us, we're keeping together. And so in this grow up was very organic, slowly. We never I never thought I never pretend as a team, I never pretend to be a world champ. I never pretend to be the best team, to big team. The team always was created to build, to give support to all our athletes, to give a good environment, the best environment possible, where everybody can trust and everybody can help each other. That's our commitment. But this way, we grew up, and I didn't expect to grow up that way. That grows, and that we are pretty strong. Their network is pretty big, and we still very like friendly as a small team. So that's making that's it's incredible from us. And but like like I say, it's the journey to the process. It should be amazing because it should be very enjoyable. It's not like a struggling that I gonna. It's of course I feel myself as a father, right? And now with COVID or some situation, I'm the one take a lot of responsibility as a team. I question myself every day. How can I help them? How can I support them? How can I help them? How can I help those guys? So this give me like a daily because daily consistently to be looking to them, but they also have the same moment. They have saying, oh, how can I support my team, how can I support my friends? And there's a it's a like I said, it was not something that we it was expecting, was planning, but the process, it's a the process that it's been so amazing and nice, and like and very enjoyable. So I like the position that I have, and I like to and I like to the team that we already have, and the team we creating for the future.
Nice. Yeah, it's great. Glad. I can't wait to see what CheckMat has in the future. So now we're going to go into the technique section. I want to go
Okay.
ahead and show you a match from your semifinals at Pan 2004. You know, not a lot of people get to see these fights anymore. So I want to show them just how exciting and dynamic Leo Vieira was. You know,
They
so
need the VHS. People need
yeah, they
VHS
need
to
a
be
VHS.
watching,
They don't even
to
have
see,
DVD players anymore. So
yeah, to see me watch, not DVD. They even doesn't know what DVD is. They need like really VHS to watch
yeah,
on the flight.
seriously. So this is your semifinal against Renato Migliaccio.
Yeah.
And one thing I really like about this, like I was saying, you're always moving, and your opponent never knows what you're gonna do. You're always gonna, even when you grab the collar and you're going for a takedown, as you can
Uh-huh.
see, you string like five takedowns in one. You have like you go up down, you go for firements, and like even right here, as you can see,
Uh, yeah.
taking the back, you jump over, and then
Yeah,
you
it's
go to
so much action in 1 minute, right? And
yeah.
like and also it's like it's not something particular, but I know like Migliaccio is a very good judo guy, so he
Mhm.
has very good stand up. So and for me, I always wants to move. I wants to keep the fight always fast. I don't keep. I don't give. I don't give. I don't like to give the person. I don't 2 or 3 seconds and one stuck in one position, because every 2 or 3 seconds it's the time that the people can react. So
Mhm.
if you look at my fight, so every 3 seconds I'm changing one attack to the other attack, one
Yes.
direction to the other direction. So make hard to be predictable. It's hard to read the person.
See, like
So
right there, yeah, you throw them over your head. So let me go back to this really quick. What I really liked about this setup right here is you grab the collar, you go for a foot sweep, then it looks like you're going fireman, and then you throw them over your head.
yeah,
So
if you remember, like the first attack, I attacked the leg,
yes,
and it's to went to his back, because I know it's gonna be hard to take him down. So
uh-huh.
I attacked the leg to take his back. So his mind like probably that's gonna attack, and
uh,
also that makes sense, because if you will make one right attack, like keep it doing the same attack. So that's why in the second attack,
you
I
change.
you yes, it was a little bit different.
Nice, yeah. So yep, there's the sweep, there's the fireman, push his head down, boom, you throw him over, and that's what makes it
Yeah,
so exciting too. You know.
yeah, because like but was a very challenging stand-up fight, because he's a like I said, like he's like now a pull guard, so it's very hard to like pretend, or like what I'm gonna do. I was
It's a
jumping, trying to go in
triangle.
the back to flying submissions.
Omoplata.
Yeah, it was a lot of energy, very intense. It's funny because you watch fights like my fights. Usually I don't pay attention what I'm fighting. Look, people in the ground, people in the back, because always are like a somebody face, like somebody that you know, but young, because I so old in the fights.
Yeah, yeah. Especially in these old matches, you'll see people in the back like, "Hey, I've seen them at tournaments still." And here you are again. You go for the arm. You realize he's not going to give it up, so you go straight for the back. And
Yeah,
you're always a step ahead. That was really cool to see. You anticipate what they're going to do before they do it, and then you're able to adjust your positioning. And I think
yeah.
right here you're going to go for the patented Leo Vieira back take where you flip over.
Oh yeah, became someone's signature, right? Like I
Yeah.
keep, yeah, I hold. Actually, like people sometimes they expect I'm doing this, so but I'm doing when they try to kick me. You see, like he tried to bump me, and that's when I take advantage to go. But I don't do. I see. I don't do the position to go to hooks. I do the position just work submissions, just to
Mm,
work like to set up submissions. It's the funny, but it's the same concept, the same principle that my brother. My brother he trained Khabib's. So if you watch Khabib's fight, like his jiu-jitsu is amazing,
hmm
and what he does so much, he does a lot of this combination. So when he's on top, sometimes he pretend to take the back just to go on top with submissions and so like it's the same concepts to I take the back. I pretend to go the back, but the reality I just want to open the scramble to get one spot to work my arm triangle.
yeah,
But there's a he's a super tough guy. Like sometimes like people's like watch the fights, especially old fight like that. They say, oh man, like now fight this guy like make the fight be like sometimes make the fight easy. It wasn't easy. Like, we was both get tired. And he was pretty tough guy. He was like beating like so much big name. He was one of it was a semi-final. He was one top athlete from these divisions too.
hmm
Very tough athlete opponent.
yeah. One thing that you said that was kind of interesting right now is about how you make them expect one move and you're really going for a submission or something. That reminds me a lot of like MMA or boxing with the feints to really go for an actual punch. And I've never actually heard jujitsu like that, so that's kind of cool to hear.
Yeah, like I was this was like 2004, I believe, and I was doing a lot of jiu-jitsu back in the time. It used to be a jiu-jitsu for MMA, so a lot of my jiu-jitsu was with boxing. Like I said, like boxing. I was doing capoeira with my
Yeah,
friends. I was doing boxing, so a lot of in boxing capoeira is very similar. So a lot of in and out pretty quick. You want to get in, escaping. You want to escape, getting in at the same time. So it's very fast. Like you want to confuse the like, and jiu-jitsu is the same thing. Like you even we have a grips, it's a grappling, but you believe in what you see. So it's both trying to cheating the other, but my conditioner, my training, my heart, my cardio was always very good. So my discipline behind training was very intense. The way I was training myself, the way I was my discipline was very uh, hard for I keep my able to make like training to be in this speed for 10 minutes.
yeah. That's another thing that really stood
Yeah,
out. You don't look tired ever. What is your favorite type of cardio? What did you like to do?
like back in the time, I used to run. I run so much. I used to run like a lot. Even like I don't like. It's not something that I like. I don't like. It's not something that I like. It's just something that you have to do because I don't want to I step on the mat before. Oh, Bibiano's over there. Look, you see Bibiano.
Oh yeah,
Oh
yeah.
yeah, I'm a big fan. I see. That's why I start looking the fight, and then I start looking to some friends.
Yeah, Viviano
And
next to Carlson right here, Carlson Jr.
yeah, and but the things like I used to run so much, like swimming a lot. Jacaré make me swim so much, but running I think was one of the biggest thing that I used to do a lot. It's running. So
Mhm.
nowadays I don't like I'm running. Running pretty good actually right now, but even if it doesn't look sometimes in shape as before. But yeah, like I don't know I can make 10 minutes like this anymore. If I could, I would have fuck still competing. But I like to run. I like to be active, jump in the mat as much possible. I try to jump in the mat every day, and yeah, I think you have to keep moving. You have to keep moving. You can really like stop and you know.
Yeah. When you were training for competitions, would you practice a lot of this stuff, or was this kind of just something you would only bring out in tournaments where because sometimes you could potentially hurt a training partner or something like that, or did you
Uh,
have these moves always in your mind?
Uh, no, like I have to ask to my training partners. I don't know if I was a nice training partner, or if it was a tough training partner. But like, but I remember to in the academy to training like that trainings and the sparrings, right? So some trainings I was training, some sparring I was sparring. So depending on what like, but I was the guy who was always challenging myself, even on the academy. If I know that you have something that I don't know, I'm gonna be sparring with you just to learn what you know. So
Mm.
like let's say like examples like Lucas Leite, he's very good half guard.
Hmm.
So when I used to training with Lucas or when I train with Lucas, I don't try to like training with Lucas against what he trying to avoid for his half guard. I want to get his half guard, and I want to learn. He's gonna sweep me 10 times, and the next week he's gonna sweep him 5 times. But that's the way that I see myself. So if you have something that it's making me feel weak or uncomfortable, man, you're gonna see my face every tournament. You're gonna see my face every single match, every single training. I'm gonna know your schedule. I'm gonna look into you to will be sparring and training because I want to learn. No, I don't want to beat you. I want to learn that position that you know. It's like playing Lego, and I love playing Lego. It's like everybody on the mat has a Lego that you need. So
Mm.
I like to collect the Legos. So if you have a position that I don't know, I want to train with you for you learn that position. So then I put myself in your positions to see, and I start thinking how that work, and then I absorb that thing. So then now I know, now I have your Lego. So then I try to have as much Lego possible for I build my Lego. So that's the way I always saw myself as a color belt, and then still looking to myself as a black belt,
Yeah,
a
always
Lego
building,
collector.
always building that Lego piece.
Yes.
There's a part right here. Let me see. There, this is not part of the match, but uh, there's a side control escape that you do
Uh,
that I don't see a lot of people do. Say
uh,
somebody goes over under on you, you always tuck in the inside arm to the side of the waist. If and you go underneath that
uh,
person. I've seen you teach it at a seminar before in
oh
certain
yeah.
videos.
Uh-huh.
Um, that was so interesting because I still don't see very many people do it to this day. I don't. It's kind of hard for me to explain it, but
Uh,
I might be able to send you a video of it later. But there was a really cool side control escape that you always would do. You would never frame. You would put one arm under, and you would dip yourself out.
yeah, it's like George Foreman. I like box. See, George
Yeah.
Foreman days. He fight like this. I do the same thing. Like
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
I always put my guard was because like I always gonna say, look, if everybody does this, works. But everybody does this, also the person on top they know what to do.
Everyone knows it.
So
Yeah.
let's do something different because maybe work and let's find something that work with a different way and then because he's not gonna know what to do, right? So
Yeah. Yeah. And this is the last part I wanted to tell you about. It's kind of really funny how you have a student that does things like this also, or an affiliate, Hanato Kanuto. This right here reminded me of him so much. You do like a jumping cartwheel arm bar
invert,
almost.
invert. It's like that's the skate. Remember I told you about the skate? That was the invert. When you
Uh,
drop, you make the invert. You put one hand like it's half car wheel to attack.
yeah.
So he was a very judo, like a grip, walking against me, trying to push me outside. I saw the situation. So I was counting the steps. I put my hand in the lapel, and then I drop my hand in the ground. Then I make an invert. And then from invert I try to lock in the with the submission. But yeah,
Ah,
those are the positions that come from like, like skate. my
yeah, yeah. That looks like a skate move. Yeah, where you're grabbing the board. Now this move, it's. I mean, to me, it seems very highly advanced. If you can try to explain the way you jump for this omoplata at the end, so you're on bottom and right there. Like that is just very high level stuff right there. Let's slow it down a little bit. So it looks like you have an arm drag almost, right?
Yeah, it's a arm drag, but I do the arm drag like, yeah, arm drag to just to set up to his back. But like as a defense, people doesn't want to get their back, right? So everybody gonna put one hand on the ground to stand up. I was just counting the like this to jump. And like sounds like it's funny you say like if you watch like back in the time, like a lot of fights with Nino Chambry, you're gonna do he does exactly the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
He does exactly like, let's say like the like the piece of Lego that's I took from Nino Chambry. He does a lot of scramble with flying omoplatas.
Mm.
So some of these fights you saw, and I was always look those guys have a games like different games, because you have people who fight and everybody have a kind of the same average like style speed. Some guys do something that out of the average, totally out. So Nino Chambry was one of the guy, right? So he
Mm.
used to do some stuff that was out of the average, and that was one thing. He was like, I don't care, I don't. He was the guy who would say, I don't care about like a sweep. I want to go to submission. Even when they had the submissions, like the point position, sometimes he was just like jumping to omoplata or triangle because he was so confident. So this was one of his Lego that I take from him.
Ah, nice. Yeah, yeah.
The arm drag to taking the back to jump to fly. I have short leg. It would be hard to make lock the triangle. That's why I was on a platter.
Nice. Yeah, me too. Me too. So that ended the match, but I think you might have had a submission if there were a minute or so left. Um, and that basically concludes our interview for today.
Okay.
I want to thank you so much, Professor Leo, for your time and your insight. It was really awesome. So before we close out here, is there anything else you'd like to say? Any final thoughts?
No, just like thank you so much. It's a very nice, beautiful project you guys are doing. I think that's something that really needs like more often. And like a more like in bigger ways, and like in different like social medias. But I think you have been doing, John, like amazing like interviews, like bring like usually there are a lot of like same like questions, like you bring like a different like questions that change like the way that we see people now, the way we see teams, the way we see athletes, the way we see the jiu-jitsu. And I think that's really nice, and I think that's a important how IBJJF take care ours like our affiliations. So I think like the the power that you guys have as a federation is like it's give us like this like show what jiu-jitsu are beyond the mat. So
Yeah.
beside tournament competition and discipline, because that should give us a lot of reputation. But also there are individual, that human being, that are individual that have like his personal life, that have their values, that like he goes through up and down, anxiety, nervous, and happiness. And like this bring a lot of like opportunities to people share their thoughts, share their experience, high level athletes, high level competitors. And then those young generation, like the new generation, they can see and then check and balance how where they are, and like and then sometimes they're gonna say, oh man, like it was hard for them. Oh, they get struggling too. Okay, so it's not okay, so I'm in the right way, I'm in the right path. Because sometimes, especially with those social media, nobody share bad experience. We only share like, even during COVID, the people still like it. Nobody share like bad experience. So it's nice. Like you bring this, you put into everybody, show themselves, like like what's like the athletes be like the person behind the athletes, the person behind the coach, and it's pretty amazing project. Also with the tournaments, like it's really important to our community. Open the tournaments, like. It's a decision very like I know how tough could be to make those decisions. It's the same decision that we have to do. We keep our doors open as the academy, but it's important to the community. It's important to show like all those values that we have. Important to have courage, loyalty to every all those values that we have been talking so much, like the sports have, and also as we have this all this together. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you for saying that. And what a great way to leave it off. Great words by a great professor. Appreciate all your time, Professor. Thank you.
Thank you so much.